So today's theme, recovery from multiple sclerosis. I actually want to read something which inspired me for the title for today. I'm going to go here. This is from the book, The Healing Code, Dermot O'Connor. He also had MS, and this is actually his journey back. He's now an acupuncturist, and he also did training in NLP and hypnosis, and just really, this book is about kind of the areas to work on, the mental areas, the physical areas, the nutritional areas. And in the very beginning, the first thing he talks about is the story of one of his clients. And it says, Paul came to my clinic after an MS attack. I had given him significant paralysis in the left-hand side of his body. He walked with great effort, aided by a leg brace and walking sticks. He moved his left arm at a snail's pace. As Paul was sitting down during the consultation, I foolishly asked him to remind me what was his bad side. Paul confidently pointed out that he didn't have a bad side. I asked him to explain. He says, I have a good side and I have a recovering side. Wow, that was music to my ears. After just 1 week, Paul's arm was moving normally again, and after 2 further weeks, he had thrown his walking sticks away, to the complete amazement of his neurology team. Words have a great effect on the direction and in which way you're heading. So today we're really going to look at, are your words and your mindset limiting your ability to recover? So I want to give you guys a few examples so we can see why what Paul was doing, why that can be so important. So let's look at some of the words that are typically used. Think of this one. Seems quite benign, right? I'm living with MS. But I want you guys to close your eyes for a moment and say these words to yourself. And as you do, I'm going to ask you a few questions. As you say that, do you have a sense of empowerment? As you say that, do you have a sense of hope for improvement? How about a drive for change? Direction? Motivation? It seems benign, but it's actually telling your subconscious, this is where we stay. What about this one? I am managing my symptoms. This. Again, notice what you're telling yourself neuro-linguistically in your brain through your words. How does managing your symptoms influence expectations or your outcomes? I'll give you an example. Imagine if we're all in a losing weight class, okay? And we're practicing weight management. That's a very common one, right? Probably it's like one of the #1 keywords on Google, weight management. But think of it again. If we think of weight management, is it telling us that we're going to be successful, we're going to change, and we're never going to have an issue with food again if we're weight managing? How about, we're managing our overeating, right? It's like, if you picture in your head, it's like this, and you're just trying to keep it under control. Or you're living with weight issues, right? Same thing. They're dreadful. Okay, another one. This one I hear a lot in my office. I have a broken immune system. I'm going to use a little bit the weight loss again. What if we're to justify that the reason we're not losing weight is because we have a bad metabolism? It's a great solution. Or is it not? All right? What happens when you say I have a bad immune system? And you could justify it. I do because this. You're putting the responsibility of how you're feeling or what's going on something you have no control over. you become helpless, hopeless. You know, you hope someone out there is going to be able to do something there, because it's your immune system, it's your metabolism, it's not 100% wrong. It just won't help you recover, if that's what you're saying to yourself. So also, would you agree that if you say, well, I have a weak leg, or, you know, oh, this runs in my family, it doesn't help us to find effective solutions to it. Just again, it's almost like a stuck place. It's like, well, so what do? We have to change how we see it. We have to change how we talk about it. And the first is, we got to stop blaming it. Again, the analogy of food and the weight loss. I have one of my teachers, Andrew Austin, does a lot of trainings on weight loss. I was actually watching one the other day, and I thought, that's a great example. A lot of people say, well, I have weight issues because there's donuts in the kitchen at work. Or my husband always brings chips home. So the first day of his weight loss training program, as everyone's walking into the room, the front of the room, there's a big desk, and there are pudding cakes and pies and donuts and smoothies. And so everyone comes in the room, they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? He goes, if you want to lose weight, you can't blame the food. Because you need to establish a very different relationship with that food, change behaviors, and not blame, well, sorry, there was donuts in in the kitchen in the office. You need to stop the blame game. Because then it becomes your responsibility to figure out how to be healthy, even though I had a stressful day, even though my immune system is a little wonky, even though you need to take the responsibility, because then you can make changes. And there are possibilities that open up. And what's most important is, if you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you're probably right. So if you believe you can recover, you're probably more right. And if you believe you have to live with it, you're also right. Your responsibilities will be to take all the material, everything that in the Creating Health series we provide, anything else you Google, anything else you work with, to take different resources and different modalities, test them, and find, by listening, like a researcher, what works for me. That's your responsibility, to find what is my combination. He found his combination. He published it. There was a lot of other books. I put on the webpage also books on MS, which different people found their combinations, right? Your responsibility is that. Today what we're going to do is a little exercise to help you guys believe a little more. Because what happens is, when everybody around us, everybody says, oh, you're living with MS, or they say, oh, you have MS, or your neurologist says, it's progressive, all those little bits have convinced your head that you have it, you're going to continue having it, it's just going to get worse. So we need to remove any obstacles to you recovering from multiple sclerosis, and from you believing you can't, okay? So that's what my job is today, is to help you guys actually change the mental mindset to open up possibility. Let's change the belief, right? Because belief is half the voyage. Believing you can't. Think about it. Tennis players. The tennis player goes to Wimbledon and he's like, I don't know, I'm not going to do very well. Forget it, right? Belief is huge. There's tons of stories of people that believe they could and you think they're crazy, and they did, right? I want you guys to take a moment to think about your multiple sclerosis. Some people it's easier to do with your eyes closed, some with your eyes open. And as you just think about it, notice, as you think of your MS, if I ask you, what do you think will happen to you? And just allow yourself to notice that. Notice if there's an image. As you think about your MS, is there an image? Are you seeing yourself? Or are you seeing through your own eyes? Notice if this is a video or a still picture. How far away is this image from you? And where is it located? Is it smack in front of you? Is it just to the side? Is it below you, above you? Does anybody want to share?
I didn't even know that this was like the thought in my head, but when you said that, I said, well, I'm gonna die.
And as you say that, notice what evidence. Is there any visuals that come with that? Any images that come with that?
It was just black.
There's black. All right. That's a pathway, isn't it? Yeah. And is that black like right in your face? Is that black way over there in the future? Where is that black? Just
Again, I didn't know I felt this way. It was just right here.
just right there, black, and it's like death. Anyone else?
I had a vision of me being bedridden, but it was up to the right, really far away.
Yeah. Up there, in your future, there's my path, and eventually I'll be bedridden. And so you saw yourself in the bed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And was this a video or still image, like a frame of?
A frame.
Yeah. So it's like, that's it. You know, stamp at the end.
Like I was picturing my brain reforming through the visions.
Okay. Anyone else? So it was inside your own brain? Okay.
I had a vision of me falling down and my body bleeding in pieces.
Okay. And where was that vision? Is it smack in front of you, up here, down here?
And it's down.
It's a little down? Okay. And so you're seeing yourself out there? Okay. All right. Now, move that over. Do you want to share any, Ken?
I have a vision of helping my father in his senior years. I love to do it, and I don't want that to end. And
So did you, as you see that, notice what is telling you or letting you, the word end, notice that. This is what's coming to me. I don't want that to end. What are you seeing? What are you noticing?
that was probably the misused word to end. What I was hoping to
Don't hope. Just allow comfortably the I'll have a client say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be in a wheelchair." It's like, well, what has to be there for you to say that to me? I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. Uh-huh. What has to be there? And if she actually calms down, what do you think is right there?
I'm a little confused now.
Yeah.
Could you ask the question again?
Yes. So allow yourself just to close your eyes and think about MS. And as you think about it, notice what you think as I ask you, what do you think will happen to you?
Death. The final role for me in life is death. But until then, I'm going to do everything I can and be as active as I can be.
Uh-huh. So where is that final located, if it has a location? In your mind's eye.
It's still within California, and it won't change from this state. And I find pleasure in living here and continuing with the role I'm living in life now.
Yeah. If you were to point in your head, or like in your call it psychogeography, where that death thing is, could you point it at it? Right there, okay. And in that one, what are you seeing? Are you seeing yourself? Are you seeing an empty something? Is it a video or a still image?
It's a still image, and it occurs fastly and then disappears.
Okay. All right, now everyone move your images to the side. Now, think about something you've gone through and that you know, 100% know, that if you ever go through that again, you 100% recover. I'll give you guys some examples. Having a burn that the first time you're like, whoa, that is a huge burn, and then you just notice it self-heals, right? You just have to take care of it. And so you know, oh, if I ever get burned, it's fine. Or you broke an ankle. Or you got a really bad flu. But if you think about it, you know that you know your body will take care of it and you'll heal. Or you've cut yourself and it was like, oh my God, but you know, took care of itself. Everyone got one? You got one?
Yeah.
Okay. Kent, you got one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, think about that thing, that issue. And again, how do you think about what will happen to you? Imagine again, maybe you had that broken ankle, and as you think about, oh, a broken ankle, notice where your mind goes when I ask you, what will happen to you? Notice this time where your thoughts go. Notice again, if this is a video, when I ask what will happen to you, what do you notice? Are you in the experience, or are you watching yourself outside, you know, seeing the you out there with that issue or healing from that issue, wherever that goes? Notice where the location is of that internal thought. Anyone want to share?
Like a couple Mayfairs ago, so at my kids' school, they have this big celebration, but I was there and I got this pretty major cut, and like I was bleeding so much that fortunately we had like a quick, like a regular bandage was not going to be enough. So we had this special powder thing that would like fuse it for a bit, and I felt like I was going to faint from just how much blood was just coming out of it. And I was just looking at my hand, I was like, I don't remember exactly where it was, which finger it was even. By now, that was a couple years ago, so it's all gone.
So now when you think about that big cut, and imagine you get, maybe you have another big cut, notice where your mind goes when I ask you, what do you think will happen to you? Notice the first thing that kind of pops in.
Heal, but it will be.
Are you seeing your hands?
Yeah.
You're kind of doing this?
Mhm.
So are you seeing it, you out there, or are you seeing it through your eyes looking at your hands?
Yeah, through my hands.
Okay, it's an interesting one. You're seeing them healed.
Mhm.
Anyone else? There isn't a wrong way. We just want to see how your mind codes.
Yeah, I went back to my wrist problem, and there I was with, looking at it, doing the stuff to it, and, taking care of it.
Yeah. Was it through your eyes again, or were you seeing yourself out there?
No, it was right there.
In your body.
Right in front of me.
Yeah, just taking care of it. So we notice a couple things. Again, there's no wrong way of doing it. What you want to see and notice how your mind maps something that you totally know you're going to heal from, and how your mind maps something that you don't think you're going to make it, right? Interesting. One was like death. Most times, neurologically, our future is up to the right. Some people are kind of coded the opposite, and most times they're here. Yet, when we talked about and the other thing, the wrist, interesting, you're in your body. Think about that. If you see yourself out there having to take care of something, and if you feel yourself in here having to take care of something, Which one feels more empowering? Which one feels more,
The one right here.
you're in control, you're in here? Do you want to share?
I falling and breaking into pieces and being bloody and alone
Yeah,
on the
say
sidewalk.
Or Anna.
Yeah,
And
and I
then,
put it in here. It's like, oh, that's it's not a problem. I'll get healed from that. Yeah, you put it in here, but if it's out there, you can't do anything.
yeah. So noticing the two, notice, oh, one maybe's out there, the other one's inside. And now, yes, take a moment to think about MS in the exact way you were thinking about the other one. So take your moment, think about all the things of MS. If your second one was totally in your body, if it was already healed, if it was, you're doing your treatments, take a moment to think about MS in the same way. In your body, in control, whatever happens, I'll take care of it. It's not the end all. And do that for a moment. And now we're going to do what I call brain training. I want you to take yourself back, perhaps to another time that you noticed your symptoms of MS. We're going to teach your subconscious to go back to this way of thinking about it. So maybe one day you wake up or you have a little bit of an exacerbation of your MS. Take yourself back there and take yourself back in this way.
Wait. So we're going back to sometime when our symptoms were like really bad? Is
Take
that-
yourself first to one that wasn't that bad, and then you can take back, but this time in this new way. Cuts could be terrible, but you know that you could take care of it. So take yourself back, and as you do, so for example yours, take yourself back, and as you're in that space, remember the hand's totally healed. So take yourself back to exacerbation and think of how good it feels that you don't even notice the scarring anymore when you're totally better. Or you're in that space and you're just doing your little treatments. And you're just imagining, oh yeah, I'll just maybe do this time. We're doing like the food thing. We're not going to avoid it. We're giving you coping mechanisms that allows you and your body to go, oh, I'll take care of that. And take a moment to go to 3. 3 in the past.
Just to get clarity, so 3 in the past of things that completely healed, like, so similar to a cut,
So,
the 3 other.
even with the MS, there's a,
Oh,
any
okay.
kind of MS thing that another time, last time, or when it happened,
Mhm.
you were like, oh no, this is da-da-da, da-da-da, or death, or oh, maybe it's going to be worse, I'm not going to be able to take care of my dad. But this time, take yourself back, experiencing it in the same ways you experienced the other illness, accident, etc. So if it was totally in your body, do that. If it was a video, do that. If it was seeing yourself completely already over it, do that. And notice if the experience is different. If they're still hopeless or helpless, if there's something else going on. Just test it. There's no wrong way. If it doesn't work, you need to tweak it. It's all right. It's all input. The brains are great places to practice. And then take yourself into the future. And imagine maybe you're turning in another project and you know all this will probably make me super tired, and take it this time and treat it in the same way as you would your other illness or break. So if it was in your body, in the body, going, oh, let me check in, this might make me tired, so let me do this, or take care of this, or use my powers. And take yourself to another event of the future. Maybe it's this warm summer. And this time, experience that moment going, ooh, it's warm. But do it this time, if it's in your body, from inside your body. And go, let me check in. As you would check in with the wrist, as you would, and whatever you would normally do, for example, with the wrist, of, let me protect it a little bit, let me da-da-da. Because I just need to do that part and then it'll be fine. However way and attitude you use with that other illness, accident, or disease, take that here. It seems weird, and it can be extremely effective for your subconscious to go, oh, okay, I have to take care of it. Oh, okay, I'll take care of this. This actually comes from a book called The Heart of Mind. It's an NLP, neuro-linguistic processing book. And this is Connie Ray Andreas, she's an NLP teacher. And she actually tells a story of a student in her class when she was teaching this a little slower. We just had enough time to just start getting that thing. A student with arthritis, treating arthritis as, I think it was an ankle injury. And it went away. Arthritis is also not an immune disorder, it's just supposed to get worse. So, where you put your mind, your body follows.
Could you repeat that last sentence?
Where you put your mind, your body follows. So, put up there, please, an image of you just very old and still dancing. And just keep her up there.
That's my plan.
That's your path.
My grandma had a huge party for her 90th birthday, square dancing.
All right.
It's a fun time.
Yeah. And the last step is just from this mindset. Anytime, when I think of MS, I need to do it in my body. I need to think about finishing, it already healed, or I need to think about from this place, just take a moment to think about what you're going to do to support your healing. I'll give you an example. If you've made a cut, if the cut hurts, do you say, you just keep pushing yourself through? Or you say, no, let me apply a little more of that powder, a little more cover, and not use that hand today. And this is a cut. Start treating it that way, and it might surprise you and everybody around you. I think I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. Erickson, which is the father of hypnosis, when he was a kid, he had polio, and so he was paralyzed from pretty much here down. And he was stuck in a chair. All his muscles were atrophied and everything. And he would imagine himself, nothing to do, so he would close his eyes and imagine himself sitting, rather than next to his bed, sitting next to the window, watching his brothers and sisters play, because he had a lot of brothers and sisters. And one of the days he spent, hours just imagining, because he could hear them, he's like, that's probably my sister Sue up in the tree, that's probably. One day when he did that for a long time, and he opened his eyes, he was next to the window. He's like, how did I get here? And so from there, he kept developing and imagining, moving next to the window, da-da-da-da-da. And about, the more he did the visualizations of moving, of doing, the more he was able to start recovering. By the time he was about 17, he could walk, not very well. And he decided, I got to do something to get this going more. And he decided to do a canoe ride down the Mississippi. And he was supposed to do it with a friend, because he wasn't very strong. And so his friend backed out, and he didn't want to tell his mom because he really wanted to do the canoe ride. So he went by himself. And the first days that he was going down, he said at the end of the day when he tried to move, he pulled his boat out of the river, he was still so weak he couldn't get the boat out. He could just get it to the side and he would just hold it and kind of wait for some passerby so he can ask, can you help me with this, get it out of the river. By the end of the summer, he was able to pull the boat in and out of the river, no problem. What I've heard is he died in his 80s, late 80s, when they did an autopsy, because they wanted to figure out how can a person who's totally paralyzed by, polio have been able to walk for so many years. And what they noticed and discovered was a lot of his muscles had died or atrophied with the polio, but the muscles that hadn't had actually split in two. So this muscle was okay and this muscle wasn't. This muscle had split in half so that half of it would be doing the pulling and half would be doing the pushing. The body found a way where the mind was indicating he was wanting to go.
What was his first name?
Milton Erickson.
So there's another father in psychology, Eric Erickson. So I was
Yes,
like,
exactly.
That sounds different, but.
Yep. Yeah. So give your subconscious some homework. Give it some direction.